Well, let's talk about how we go about solving an inequality that's got more than one step in it. It might have multiple steps. We're going to look at a couple of examples. A nice easy one to start with. X plus 2 is less than 5. Now remember, we're trying to get the x on its own. So just like we do with equations, I can take the plus 2, okay, and I'm going to drag it across to the other side. When I change sides, I change sign, it becomes a negative 2. Now 5 minus 2 is 3. So now my inequality reads as x less than 3. And we can go ahead and graph that just like we've done on our number line in the previous lesson. Right? Remembering that it's an open circle because 3 is not included because 3 is not less than 3. What about something that's a little more complicated though? Even though this looks ugly, don't freak out. It's just the same skills that we've used when we were solving equations. I can move things around, but when I move them to the other side, they become the opposite of what they are. A plus would become a minus. A multiply would become a divide, etc., etc. And we're going to apply that to this. We're just going to crunch it through step by step until we end up with something that says x less than or equal something else. Okay, the first thing I want to get rid of here is the divide by 2. Okay. When I take a divide 2 across to the other side, it becomes a times 2 because they're the opposite things of each other, right? So nice, 10 times 2 is 20. And all I'm left with on the left-hand side now is that 4x plus 2. Next bit I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that plus 2. And remember, when I take the plus 2 and I drag it across to the other side, it becomes a take 2 or a negative 2. Right? So I've got 20 minus 2 is 18. So now 4x is less than or equal to 18. See how we're whittling it down and we're kind of just chopping away the bits using our algebra skills? Because the last step now is this 4x means x times 4. Well, the opposite of timesing 4, and I can just drag it down, it becomes a divide 4. Okay, and we're just going to do that bit again because it's a real quick and easy shortcut. If I've got something like this times 4, I just bring it down to the bottom of the other side. It becomes a divide 4. I just divide everything that's on the other side by 4. Now that's a number I can work with. 18 divided by 4. If you're not sure, you can put that in your calculator, but you may be able to do that in your head and say, well, 4 fits into 18 4 times with 2 left over, so it's 4.5. Now I've got just a simple inequality that I can put on my number line. I've got to show everywhere that x is less than or equal to 4.5. So here's my number line. Here's the point 4.5. Now they don't have to be whole numbers. 4.5 is on the number line. It's halfway between 4 and 5. So am I going to put an open circle or a closed circle? Well, because I've got this less than or equal to sign, it's going to be a closed circle. Okay, hopefully you remember that from our previous lesson. And it's pointing to the left, so all the numbers to the left of that are included in my set. So let's actually check. Let's test the value of x equals 1. Okay, so if I was to substitute that in to my equation, so I'm going to put a bracket where the x was, I'm going to put 1 in there. So now I've got 4 times 1 plus 2. Well, that simplifies to 6. And 6 divided by 2 simplifies to 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is. And it's good. I can see that the point 1, x equals 1, is shown in my set of solutions according to my diagram. So all looks good. Okay, but what about if we test this value? What if we said x equal to 5? Now looking at my number line, it shouldn't be part of my solution set because it actually sits above that solid dot. So let's test it. Let's substitute 5 in where the x was. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. 22 divided by 2 gives me 11. And 11 is not less than or equal to 10. So that's good. It looks like we've got this correct because 5 is not part of our solution set. All right, I hope that all makes sense. You guys rock. Well done.